Okay, so today's guest is a good friend of mine, actually. He's a professional wrestler known as Lloyd, Mr No Fear, or as me and my friends know him. He's our good drinking buddy and a good friend who have been to many a gig with, Mr. Ryan Ainsworth. How are you today, my dude?
I'm absolutely awesome, thank you, my friend. How are you doing, man?
Oh, very well, thank you, mate. Very well. Better for seeing you, boy.
Good, man. Yeah, better seeing you. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We can do it soon, not on a little box here, on a little
Oh,
screen.
be nice, mate, wouldn't it? I think
Oh,
it was August the last time we all went out over that where we had like sort of when you get school
yeah,
holidays over the summer, it felt like the government had let us out for a few weeks, like right, go on run riot, and then we can have another lockdown.
yeah. It was. Go on, have a bit of a play.
Yeah,
When I saw you, was I still in my boot?
I think you just come out of it actually because you were walking on
Just
your
come out.
foot, but yeah, because you
Yeah.
it hadn't it can't have been more than like 6 months after you'd done it. Because I remember seeing. Do you want to? Hang on, I'll say about this first. So you wrestle for Britannia Wrestling Promotions. And
Yeah.
you've had a bit of a leg injury recently, haven't you, mate? Do you want
Yes, I
to go
did.
through that, and then this will tack on nicely to?
Yeah. So it was a year ago. It was last February in 2020, just before the main lockdown actually hit.
Yeah.
So I had like lockdown plus 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was training before the show for Wrestle Island over in Birkenhead.
Oh yeah.
And before the show, normally you just kind of mess about in the ring. You just have a bit of a laugh. You just get in there with your mates, and it's common courtesy not to wear outside shoes in the ring because you
Yeah.
you walk on the pavement, you get crap on your shoes. It's just nice not to be rolling around in it later.
Yeah.
I was a dickhead. I just take my shoes off and I'm just in the ring with all my mates with no shoes on, no support, absolutely nothing. And I'm just running through some stuff with Paradox, who I will probably talk about a lot during this. It's the current team I'm running with in all of wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And I got flipped over. Like, lads, look at this. I can do a flip and land on my feet. I got flipped over. I landed straight on my heel. My heel span around and snapped.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was weird though. I've never broke a bone before that, but it didn't hurt as much as I thought it would. I was expecting to be crying. That was much later when they put it back in. That was horrible. Doing it was fine. I was just kind of lying there, like, oh yeah, this is a bit gross. As everyone's gathered around me in this room, just like, are you all right? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I pop it in and I wrestle. But no, luckily someone called the ambulance and I went to a hospital and we did it all properly because I broke my leg in 3 places.
Wow.
And
Bloody hell.
yeah, I wanted to wrestle on it, but no. After they crunched it back in, I screamed. That was awful.
Yep.
They crunched it back in. They couldn't get it in one. They did half of it, and then they had to do it again. Uh, yeah, I had 4 metal plates screwed in around to support the whole thing, and about 32 or 38 screws or something. I forgot the number. You can't really count on
Wow.
the X-rays because it's everywhere. Like it's just all over the place. I can't wait to set off the metal detectors in the airports. Like,
I was just thinking that you're
but
probably about 15-20% metal at this point in your leg. And, if anyone ever
yeah.
tries to go for a leg kick or anything, you just check it. They're going to break, the foot's going to disintegrate on the spot. So,
Well, I was thinking new finish is going to be something to do with a kick. Like it's got to be something to do with a kick, like just a straight kick to the face. It's a titanium metal leg. They're going to get knocked out.
oh yeah, I'll show you how to throw that, that push front kick to the face. You can get your leg up high enough. You can, like a nice little tap to the chin with a ball of your foot. Anderson Silva
Yeah,
knocking out, who's Vita Belfort, he finished with that absolute.
that's the one.
Everyone's going on about, oh, you're so technical, blah, blah, blah. That no, like when I was a white belt doing karate, the front kick's the first kick you learn. Like it's
Yeah.
set to because it's like you do it in two stages. Like you bring your knee up, then you flick the leg out. It's an easy
Mm.
kick to break down for a learner to do, and it sort of teaches you breaking down the kicking technique for the more advanced kick. So no, it's not an advanced kicker, but to execute it, a simple move like that in a mixed martial arts fight in the biggest promotion in the world, and I think a title fight as well. That's something completely different.
Mm.
Being able to
Yeah.
But you look at like submissions and that people get in the UFC, they're usually the more conventional ones. It's a lot of rear naked chokes and arm bars and guillotines, isn't it? You don't see
Yeah.
many twisters and omoplatters, stuff like that. But
No.
sorry, I
I
completely
think the one that
digressed away from wrestling there.
it I'm assuming it's going to happen a lot because I don't know what fight it was. I've not seen it, but you just seen the picture of a guy who gets like a Boston crab on some UFC fighter,
Yeah,
the Chris
that was.
Jericho thing.
I remember seeing that a couple of years
And
ago. Is it the Walls of Jericho Boston
yeah,
Crab finish?
yeah, yeah. Like I don't know how the hell you managed to get that in a real fight, but it's just like I'm impressed. Like I'm so impressed with that.
The thing is with mixed martial arts, you do find some of the discrepancies on the ground. Like if someone knows absolutely no jujitsu or like sort of wrestling defense or like how to sprawl on a takedown or get back to your feet, sort of shrimping or anything like
Yeah,
that, you can sort of catch them really easily and sort of bait them into doing things like sort of bait them to roll over and give up their armpit so you can put in a darce choke, sort of get the ground and pound in, make them give it that back, and then you get your hooks in for a rear naked or something like that. Even
yeah,
if like I can't think of anything like you could sort of get him shooting for a lazy takedown. You got your guillotine set up there, sort of sprawl, take the back. Um, I think it was. I don't think it was in the UFC. I think it was one of the regional promoters. But even still, pulling that off in a professional fight is just.
yeah.
It's like when you see some of the
It's
Matrix kicks they do, where they 720
yeah.
spin off the cage, defying gravity upside down.
And you're just there like what? But it's the most legitimate thing, one of the most legitimate things out there. So you're like, okay, I can't say anything about that. Like it's just mental.
I think that's why I've always been drawn towards combat sports. 'Cause a
Mm.
lot of team sports on the field, rugby, football, maybe the ones where you've got bigger sides, maybe over 7 on a team. If you're having a poor performance, you can sort of hide behind other players and get away with it. I was
Yeah,
speaking to a rugby sevens international, Avon Bagshire, a couple of weeks ago, because he plays sevens for the Welsh team internationally, and he was saying that game's obviously it's completely different, half team size on the field, but it's that sort of game
yeah,
where if there's a weak link in your team, they're exposed instantly. Like there's no place to
yeah.
hide because you're playing on a full size pitch. There's
No,
only 7 of you to cover the space. If you're dawdling at the bottom of a ruck, taking ages to stand up, there's a spot missing in the line. There's a gap for them to go through that straight through it. And a lot of them, there might be like sort of
yeah,
short distance sprinters that have been turned into rugby. The Americans used to do that. They used to take 100, 200 meter
yeah,
sprinters, turn them into fullbacks and run rings around people because they're just not able to catch you.
but yeah,
That's the in
no,
boxing, MMA. Like you've got the support of your corner, you got your teammates in the gym, but once you step inside the
yeah.
cage or the ring,
But like
absolutely nowhere to hide.
all eyes are on you, aren't they? No,
Yeah,
all
every
eyes are
level,
on you, and
I'd
if
say.
you don't do something right, everyone's gonna let you know about it.
It's the same for wrestling, I guess, as well. Like it might be slightly because you do. What do you prefer actually? Do you prefer wrestling solo? Do you prefer your tag team matches? You got a preference really?
Oh,
Do you
I
just
like
enjoy being
everything
in
I
the
do
ring in general?
in different levels. Like
Yeah.
I love singles guys. I love like singles wrestling. If I'm with someone who's really good,
Hmm.
if I'm with someone who needs a bit more of my help, like to carry them through,
Yeah.
I don't like it as much. Tag stuff, like with Paradox now, this has been like it's been about 2 years, 2 of the funnest years of wrestling I've had, but just with tag stuff we do.
Yeah.
Like the matches we have are good. They're like entertaining for us as well. And if we're entertained, then it's going to translate over well to the fans because they're going to buy into it as well.
Yeah.
So like I love that. But it's happened before when I've been teamed with random people.
Hmm.
Where so if you turn up to a show one day and you're like, what am I doing? And they go, oh, you're going to team with Joe Blogs. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you have that, and then those matches usually aren't very good. They're passable, and they do fit on a show, but you can tell that you're not a team. You can tell
Yeah.
straight away that 2 guys, you don't really know each other. and you don't know each other's moves, and you don't train with each other, and it's very apparent. So I don't like that stuff either. I think some of my favorite matches though are when there's loads of people in the ring, like a scramble or a 4-way or a rumble, just like, because we all just like having fun. We all just like taking the piss. When you get higher up in the level, when it's like more professional, and you know, the big American companies or the Japanese companies or whatever, you have to take it a bit seriously. On the British indie scene, you just take the piss with everything. So when there's like 12, 13 guys in the ring, you just have a laugh with all your mates. It's like, oh, I don't like you. Oh, I'm going to go punch you in the face. Screw you. And then it's just like, oh yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah. I don't do that, by the way, if anyone's thinking, what a fucking knobhead.
Oh, no, I wouldn't think that about you at all, sir. You're a very, very outstanding human being, not a scourge on society at all. You're very well behaved out around Rill and wherever we're terrorising on a night out, you know, You have to behave yourself nowadays, especially you, young man. You've been a champion at one point. You've got that on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Are you still a champion, by the way, mate? Sorry, you know me. I don't really keep up with wrestling that much. I watch it in the Olympics when it's on, but it's slightly different kind of wrestling.
Yeah. Very different.
Yeah,
very good, but very different.
Yeah. How's your how's your title run to get back to? What was the name of your belt first of all? Sorry.
The last one I had was the Champion of Wales.
Ah, fantastic. Welsh Sport podcast, of course.
I know, Champion of Wales. I had to get rid of it. I had to vacate the belt in March last year.
Was that through injury?
A massive shame. Yeah, it was through injury, but being the last match before lockdown, if everything had been one show later, I'd still have it now. And I would have had a belt for like 400 days. I had to vacate it, and then lockdown happened. It would have been. It would have been really good, but you know, instead it was about 2 months.
That's still not a bad title. Right? It's like 60 odd days. It's more than I've ever held the title for, bud. I'll be honest with you.
I was gutted because I was supposed to be wrestling Matt Fox in May for the World Catchweight title. And it was going to be the first Catchweight versus Champion of Wales match in Britannia, BWP. But it ended up not happening. Obviously, literally, it was 2 weeks before I was scheduled to go on with Matt, where I broke my leg and we just couldn't go.
Yeah.
It was just, we're going to have to wait. But hopefully soon, fingers crossed. A couple more months.
Definitely, mate. You're healing up nicely. You get a few matches under your belt as well first, once all this is over. People are going to be clamoring to get back and have some live entertainment. You know, especially it's all well and good seeing sort of the professional sports on television. Like, I've loved how the UFC's kept going most of the time during lockdown. Same with the football. They've kept it going best as they can, got the rugby up and running again. But I am just missing being in a stadium watching a team. Like, I've been disenfranchised from going to see Arsenal for years and years now, mainly just because the amount of money that's being thrown around in the elite professional game, if you can call it that. I just miss standing in a bloody freezing cold football stadium at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, pie in your hand, pint in your hand, because you can still take beer into the stands because it's not professional grounds. You know, bloody cheap burger at halftime or whatever, bloody turnstile that's rickety as you go through it, seats that's half angled off the thing. But you know, that's what it's all about.
You just described an FC United when we went, like, what, 2 years? Was it 2 or 3? We used to go to FC United on Boxing Day.
Yeah, mate, that must have been about 3 years ago now. Were we home, or was that an away game we went to? I think it was Altrincham.
No, we went to 2 home games. We saw, I don't remember the first one, but the second was Salford. We watched that game.
I remember that.
And
of course, because they do
6-1.
That was a horrendous. I think that was New Year's Day, that one, and then
was it?
I can't remember the result on Boxing Day, but they National League and sort of the lower tier teams, I like what they do over the festive period. So if people, like, say you've got Carlisle on Boxing Day and you live in Manchester, you don't want to run all the way up there. They do like derby matches or local games over the festive period. Which I think is a great idea, Because, you know, if
Oh,
you're
that
around
is.
with your family and there's a game like, you know, an extra 10 minutes down
Yeah.
the road in Altrincham, or you're playing Droylsden or something, it's not that far, is
Yeah.
it? So
No.
Plymouth
And
away, bloody
it's
7-hour trip there,
yeah.
14-hour round trip.
Fucking hell. That'd be killer. Imagine losing that day as well. 7-hour drive you lose, and then you got a 7-hour drive home. You just be fuming the whole way
I always
back.
feel sorry for Newcastle fans, mate. They like the amount of London clubs and the teams on the south coast nowadays.
Yeah.
There was once me and Sam were going to watch. I think it was Wales, South Africa, the first full rugby international
Oh,
I've been to. We were driving down from Leeds to Cardiff. We'd been to a gig the night before as well. Bryson Tiller at Victoria Warehouse. Me, Sam, and Mason went, so we were quite late getting back. Stayed up a little bit, went back to sleep, and then me and Sam were like, right, we're gonna have to get up at I think 4, hit the road for about 4:30 to get there for a decent time to park up and get into town and get to the game. Blah blah blah. We were like, I got in the car driving down past Sheffield, somewhere on the M1, I think, or round about there. I think I said to him at one point, who the bloody hell else is going to be up at this time in the right mind, who doesn't have work, or like, we are so stupid. Why didn't we just go down last night? Why did that gig have to be there? So we get off, go for a bite to eat at a McDonald's on the motorway. Busload of Newcastle fans get off with us about the same time. Poor sods have got a lunchtime kickoff. They were playing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. They'd had to get up at like
all the way
3:30 to get
down.
on the bus for 4 to get down to London for what, 11:30 to get in the ground for 12:30. Like, the dedication of
Yeah.
away fans is just unflappable. Like,
It's something else. It is honestly something else,
especially
isn't it?
when the results go against you and you have an owner like Mike Ashley at Newcastle. It must be so frustrating to sort of put that graft in for you. But it's your team. What are you going to do? You're going to get behind them, aren't you?
Always you are. You're just gonna you suck it up and you do it, don't you?
Exactly, mate. It's what you do. Yeah. So, how old were you when you first remember watching wrestling? Was it WWE on the TV?
It was. Like most people our age, it was. How old was I? It was in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it must have been about 11. About 11, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the build up to the Royal Rumble, which had Edge and Rey Mysterio on, and Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. I'd never watched it. I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh, language. That's my first F-bomb of the whole day. I was like, what the hell is
this?
After
I gave you that stellar character review before, Ryan.
Oh, I know, it's going right down.
Oh, it's all good.
Proper reprobate.
I've said much worse than that before, and I think it's a reprobate. Sorry. Sorry, mate.
Bloody hell. I'm off, mate. I'm going home.
Oh my God, I'm upsetting the talent. God, this is why I'm never going to get that journalism career. Bloody hell. Should have stuck to music.
Do you still play music? Quickly going on, but
I've got a beautiful 350 quid sub Music Man 5-stringer that is currently gathering dust because I'm wasting a lot of time not wasting, I'm spending a lot of my time editing videos and doing all this stuff, so it's sort of taking a backseat. And honestly, if I picked it up right now, I probably wouldn't be able to remember half the songs I used to play on it, and I'd be more stuck to playing classic rock, dad rock stuff, because like my chops for playing metal, I was just I tried to try relearn a couple of Metallica songs about a year and a half ago.
Oh, right.
Blackened the first track off Injustice for All. Just could not get the down pick into even alt picking. I just could not get the hand speed in it. I was like half a beat slow on every bar. Ugh. Just getting so this kids. This is why if you have something you're good at, sports, music, arts, anything like that, just bloody practice it for fuck's sake. Like, don't be like me. Don't be a lazy twat. Like, look at Ryan. He's a professional wrestler now. He's worked at his craft. He's practiced. And I'm sat here talking about people that are much more talented than me and giving them shit for it. So, welcome to the real world. Work hard, don't be a miserable old bastard like me. Fun and games, mate.
Yeah, you're not even,
It's my own fault.
you're
I
not
get up
even
at
that
5
old.
to grind at Tesco. I'm 24, mate. I feel about 44. It's horrible. Honestly,
I was
when
gonna say,
we
yeah.
can go to jiu-jitsu again, I'm going to be like a fucking whale on the mat, honestly. I'm going to be flopping around like Shamu. It's going to be humiliating.
When was the last time you got into the jiu-jitsu place? Like when was your last able to train?
There was a brief period before Christmas where gyms were allowed to open, but we had to roll in masks, which I don't know. Have you ever had a wrestling character that's had some over his face or over his mouth to wrestle in? Because
Yeah,
knackering, isn't it?
Yeah,
Knackering.
I
Like,
have done it myself as well.
I know you have to put a mask on for COVID, and I'm not debating that. That's
Yeah,
perfectly
no,
understandable. It's been proven by science. But doing a
yes,
sport in a mask is pretty difficult. I mean,
hard.
I'm not the healthiest person on the planet by any stretch of the imagination. I'm usually sucking for air after about 4 minutes of a 5-minute roll. So, but like, it was more after 2 minutes this time. I mean, this was mostly me playing guard off my back as well. I was shattered. You know, it's not like I was trapped under mount under an ultra heavyweight for bloody 4 minutes. I was sort of guy about my size, just trying to use a bit of spider guard to sweep him and then try and take his neck and get on for dear life at the end of it, just grabbing his collar. And if I pull in the right direction, maybe he'll tap. Just yeah, it's like with anything, it's just something you need hours on the mat to just practice and practice and practice.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it, and my a year ago I could not do a forward or backwards roll. I can fairly well execute both without breaking my neck, which I'll call a success. And I've triangled a few people in trading, which I'm quite happy with. So
good lad.
I'll call that a
Good
success.
lad.
That's probably my strongest submission at the minute. And it's off your back as well. So, like, what more do you want? You just sit on your ass and choke someone out with your legs. Sound. I'll take that all day.
Easy. Well, yeah, definitely.
It's fairly
the only
easy
reason I asked.
if you can get them passive, one arm in, one out, you just throw your legs up and cinch in.
I guess mine is different because again, there's triangles in wrestling. Triangle chokes, but obviously we all kind of get the gimmick with wrestling. Like I don't want to say it, but we all get the gimmick, yeah. So you don't have to focus too much about cinching things in.
You just want it to look like it's coming
if it
on
looks
really
like
hard.
it, that's it. Yeah, and you're just there, like, yeah, I've got it in. Obviously, if you were to actually choke someone out with it, I'd probably be like, oh, well, I don't know how to do this, but yeah, I could do this in a match. I did this last week, but in real life, it would be a bit more. Oh, bloody hell. What's going on here?
Yeah, I get, but you just have to make minor tweaks. Like, you probably wouldn't, because what chokes him? You've got the arm going across, haven't you? So you got the arm going across, and that shuts one side off, and then you bring your leg over the other side, so you close. It's it's a blood choke, isn't it? Because it strangles on the windpipe, a blood chokes on the two jugular veins. So it's just a blood choke on both sides. So when you're doing it, because you're not actually trying to choke them out, you're just trying to sell it that you've got someone in a triangle. You're probably not going to have your legs as tight. You're probably not going to have the arm fully across or be pulling the head down. It's just those little maneuvers you'd need to adjust, like pushing the arm fully across when you're throwing your leg over, making sure it's tight. You could. Most times in a jiu-jitsu comp, you'll throw up a triangle and then you'll just be adjusting it gradually to that. I haven't been to a competition yet, I should say. They're all cancelled, obviously.
Obviously,
it's a shame. And we will get to one soon, and I will not tap. I will happily go out and look like an idiot.
Happily pass out.
I'm
pass out before you tap.
Joking, sod that, mate. Live to fight another day. It's just those. You're always making those little adjustments, like sort of closing the gap, hopping your knee up to shorten it. You even posture around. You sort of grab the leg and turn through to the side to give yourself more of an angle. You just look like the same with a guillotine. You might need to sort of hop, sort of your thing, to twist your elbows a bit more, change your grip slightly. Like with anything, you're just constantly making little. But with your thing, the majority of the technique, like you'll learn how to throw on an armbar on someone. You just won't crank it. That's the only thing you'll need to do differently. Just get crank. But when we're doing it on the mat in training, like if you get an armbar 3/4 on, you just tap. There's no why. You're trying to batter each other in training, bugger each other for competitions. That's not how you learn.
No.
It's probably better to get caught 3/4 in something and have someone go through it with you. Like, how did this happen? And so you get you step by step, you learn the defenses gradually, you get more used to recognizing when they're going for certain positions. It's just like chess, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a weird, aggressive style of chess where people hit each other.
Well, do you know where jiu-jitsu came from originally? So this was meant to be mostly a wrestling episode, and I've managed to go into the other echelons of grappling.
We've got time.
It's all right.
We'll speak
so
about
we'll circle back.
Later.
We're still in the grappling sphere. We'll circle back.
I mean, what is it? It's 7:00. I don't know if you have anything else on today, do you? I don't.
Not really, mate. Also, you've just blown the aesthetic of the show wide open. Everyone knows we pre-record now. No, I'm joking. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I was supposed to ask you about that. If we do that or not.
No, mate. I don't have the capacity to go live. I don't even know how I'm much more comfortable recording things anyway. I'm very much a house mouse at the minute. So.
Well, we had to pre-record because I'm a very busy man. That's what we're going
working with. Man. So.
Yes, true. I'm lucky to be able to still go out.
Yeah, well, that's probably the one thing that's kept me sane over the past few months. Getting to go to Tesco at 6 o'clock every morning. It's fun though. Like pays the bills. Some of the colleagues are a good lot.
It does.
Some of the managers are really, really, really massive arseholes, but you get that everywhere. Like some of them are sound. You get on with them. Some of them aren't.
I'm assuming your managers don't watch this, do they?
I don't care if they do. I think the ones I don't like, I'm pretty obvious and sort of dead towards. And if they ask you to do so, be like, yeah, okay, sure. And if they're like sort of grilling you for something, you've got that dead eye stare, like, why are you having to go at me for this, dude? Like, come on.
Come on, there's no need. I'll do whatever you want. Just there's no need.
Like, come on, mate. It's like you're dragging me out of bed at 5 a.m. Can you not just like kill my spirit off anymore? So capitalism, march my hopes and dreams out into the car park and put 2 in the back of the head like Tony Soprano. Thanks, mate.
Where jiu-jitsu came from?
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna.
That's where we were.
So my best understanding of this, and if any jiu-jitsu connoisseurs or anyone with a coral belt is listening to this and wants to come on and tell me I'm full of shit, please do, because like you're much better versed on this than me. My best understanding of jiu-jitsu, it was a martial art that developed in Japan, obviously. It was around the time of the samurais, though, I think they first started developing it. Because in a lot of Japanese jiu-jitsu, you have like bow and arrow chokes, sort of staff choke. Is it like boa staff choke, different things like that. It was a form of combat for the samurais to learn when they'd been disarmed on the battlefield. And say, the other guys coming at him, sword or like a boa staff, how do you sort of defend yourself using close quarters grappling, sort of limit the space, and then sort of use holds and chokes and maybe even their own weapon against them to sort of counter. So it's sort of like a counter martial arts, sort of like defensive counter wrestling, but also sort of, that's my best understanding of it. It was like a sort of defense mechanism for an unarmed samurai, and it really developed from there. But you have a boa staff choke, you have a bow and arrow choke. There's a few more I can't remember the names of, but they'd be so you do them, and it's mimicking if you had like a bow in your hand and you were choking someone with it. Similar technique, but I think you use the gi in some ways. But yeah, to my best understanding, that's how it came about. But also, like, wrestling is so much older than that. They were, what was it, pancrase they were doing in ancient Greece and stuff like that, which is that mixture of boxing and wrestling, basically MMA without kicking.
I don't know too much about the origins of that, but I did a pancrase thing once. I did one pancrase show, not last year, but the year before, so 2019, and that was fun. I got my ass kicked, which was, it was, I got roped into it somehow. And they were like, oh, Ryan, do you want to do this? And I thought it was like I thought it was wrestling. Like,
Yep.
Go out there, full stuff. And then
full contact or?
Yeah. I got like this guy like palming me in the face. And I was like, fucking hell, what's this about? Like, bloody hell, mate. Calm down. And I was like, oh, right, I think I get the crack of what this is now. And then I got choked out by a guillotine. And I was like, okay, cracking.
Man. Did you, were you shooting in? Were you shooting in for a double or something?
I was just trying to, bloody hell. I think the last time I watched it back.
Sorry, I'm just bringing all this up, making you relive it.
Yeah, just making me relive that time I got like absolutely kicked in the ass, like, and choked out in the second round. It was fun though. I was mainly going for takedowns. It wasn't as bad as
CM Punk, like.
No.
Yeah.
I think I took him down twice, and he got out of it because some of the rules. It sounds really bad. I didn't understand what fight I was in. I didn't understand the rules or anything. I really winged this whole day. I just turned up, and like in wrestling, if you grab the ropes, you have to the count of 5 to break. He grabs the ropes, and I'm just there like, fuck, like, screw you, I've got till 5, but no, you have to let go straight away. And I was just there like, oh, sorry, okay, I'll let go. And I think I got a point taken off me for that, for being unprofessional. Oh, no. And then I'm just there with my mates in the corner, like, I have no idea what I'm doing. What the hell is this? And then it was, I came back and he just got me and he just starts choking me out. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. Screw this. Not a fan. It's not even that. I just think I wish I knew what I was doing more. I'd love to do it again because it was fun, but I'd like to know what to do, sort of thing.
Well, I like the sound of this.
I still don't
know. I think if you get another match coming out, you need to get me in your camp. I can teach you a few of the defenses and maybe a couple of sneaky sweeps and that, so that you can use after your takedowns, or if you get one stuffed, maybe teach you a standard guillotine or something, and get him to shoot and catch him.
No, I want to do it again because I quite enjoyed it. But like, it wasn't straight away. Straight away, I didn't get the crack, and I was just there like, this is weird. This doesn't feel like wrestling. This doesn't feel like what I do every week. And I've never met this guy. He looks like he's going to kill me. And I'm like, okay. And then, he just started kicking shit out of me. And I was like, oh, nice one.
Learning experience, though. Good experience.
It was a thing. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun-ish. But that was a part of the wrestling, which is weird because we want to get on everywhere. Just like, I wrestle in Wales, but I also wrestle in Liverpool, in Stoke. I've done shows down Manchester and Gloucestershire and places like that. The goal is to get everywhere, like out over the whole country. And that was one of them. Like, I got an offer, took it just to get out there. And like, because you don't know who's going to see you in the crowd. If another booker sees you, they'll go, I want him. I like him. He's a good lad. Yeah. And I took something that I shouldn't have taken, like the match. And it just happened from then. And I was like, oh, bloody hell. Here we go. Fun.
That's interesting what you said about wanting to get your name out there and sort of taking the opportunities that come to you. Because you see that a lot in MMA nowadays, especially in the COVID times. A lot of fighters who've just been presented with opportunities like, oh, we've got a fight in 3 weeks on Fight Island. Do you want to take it? Or we've got 2 guys ready to take it. Yeah, I'll have it. So you take your opportunities, and then when the next one comes up, you're going to be top of the list to get offered it because you said yes before and you're reliable. You look at someone like Kevin Holland. I think he fought 5 times last year. I'm pretty sure he's off the Contender Series, but I don't think Dana White gave him a contract even though he won. Because he didn't like him because he thought he was really gobby. And he's one of those fighters who talks when he's fighting. But that's just him. He's a shit talker in the ring. Like Muhammad Ali was a shit talker in the ring. Like Khabib, Conor, they're all shit talkers in the ring. What was Muhammad Ali's thing? Say my name and then he'd bop you. Say my name. It's part of the craft. It's part of the gamesmanship of it. Sorry, back to Kevin Holland. His stock has shot up so much in the last 12 months just because he's been taking fights, and he took a
Yeah.
few fights like undercard or lower main card, got good wins, carried on doing the same thing. And his next fight, he's probably going to be either looking at a fight night main event or pretty decent billing on a numbered main card or like a co-main event on a bigger pay-per-view, something
Yeah.
like that. Same with your thing with wrestling. You just, especially, you're wrestling with an independent promoter. You'll all want to work together, get your names out together, build a scene together. So you see the same in the
Yes.
music scene. It's loads of bands plugging together,
Yeah.
loads of venues and promoters all digging their heels and putting their heads together, trying to create a sort of collective identity out of this sort of shared goal, if you want to address it
Yeah.
that way, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, from what I believe, everyone who I work with have the same idea of where they want to get to, like the same, ceiling that they want to hit.
Yeah.
It does split. Some people want to go to Japan, some people want to go to all of Europe, and some people want to do America. So there is, differences in that sense.
Yeah.
But everyone wants to get as far as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to do that is for everyone to just buckle down and work together. Like egos in the business are horrible. Like, you just don't need one, because it just doesn't help. It doesn't help the overall scene. I don't think, anyway. Like, just help each other out as much as you can, because it's really easy. Like, it's really easy to help each other, because there's some things that I know that someone else doesn't, and there's some things they know that I've never even thought of before. And just tell each other, because if you can change the way someone thinks and they go, holy, that's so much better. Why have I never done that before? And it's like, oh, cool. And then I've this happened to me loads, when someone just goes, oh, I saw you did this thing. It would be cool if you did this. It's like, oh my God, yeah, it is. Why have I never done that before? That is brilliant. Like, I think the people who do that are the best kind of people in the industry, and in most industries as well. Like anything, if it's music or UFC, as we were just mentioning, it's just help each other, because it just makes the whole product better. Like, which is what you want. Because you want people watching.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Like, it's interesting what you said about, so there's not really a place for egos in wrestling. You feel like it's probably in everything though. You get sort of the big fish in the little ponds. There's like, you get it bands. We see them all the time around. Really, you've probably been in the north when we've been supporting some bloody band from God knows where in Lancashire or whatever, and they rock in big ego, blah, 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 going on this, that, and the other, and they come to play and they sound absolute shite, and they sort of don't know what they're doing. Don't know the first thing about all the gear and no idea. In things like this, when you are trying to build an independent scene and you are working together with other promoters, it is just a case of learning off each other, sort of in the sense of you don't repeat the same mistakes as other people have, but also like new ideas. You might have an idea in the pipeline. You mention it to someone, they're like, oh, okay, that's good, but have you thought about it from this angle? Or if you tweak this aspect of it, it might work a bit better, or it might work a bit quicker. You do just relate this back to jiu-jitsu again. Like, you learn a technique, you drill it, you get it down, you try and execute it during the roll. Probably the times I've learned the most are when I'll be rolling with a higher grade, or when the higher grades are watching, and they'll sort of give you the tweaks, or the way they've sort of, from their experience, the way they've found the techniques easier to execute, or the best way of going about executing certain techniques. And it's those little tweaks, because they've been doing it in matches, been doing it at comps, they've been doing it for years on the mat and in training. It's those little sort of nuggets of experience that really help you really develop your game quickly. So it's going to be the same in wrestling, isn't it? Like,
definitely.
You're good at doing front flips, but you need sort of help on working your punches. Why don't we go through that a bit more? Maybe if you throw it a bit more like a wild swing, it'll look like it's hitting a bit harder, or I don't know. Little tweaks like that's how you learn with everything.
That's pretty much exactly how it happens. Like, it's everyone's usually good at something. Like, there isn't anyone out there who's just bad, but everyone needs, like, there's always one little thing someone can do with work on. And that's everybody, just because everyone's like human and can only know so much. Well, there's me just like say compare like bringing up the whole scene, not everybody, but just from my experience, there's always something someone can do better.
Yeah.
Especially me. Like God, there's loads for me right now, but that'll be getting worked on in August, September, whenever we're allowed in the gym.
You're always way more critical of yourself than other people, though, in fairness.
Yes, that is true.
If you ask me what I can do in jiu-jitsu, it's probably get tapped out and get sat on and mount my heavyweights. But apart from that, but I've got an okay triangle. I'm okay playing out my guard. I've got a pretty handy Toriando pass if I need to get into side control. I'm still very much in the infancy of my learning. Sounded very camp saying that, but sorry.
It doesn't matter,
But
does
yeah.
it? Ooh,
I'm sorry, I can't remember what I just asked you. Oh yeah, it was
me neither.
learning sort of little tips and sort of how no one's perfect at everything in wrestling. You've all got little things you want to work on. And you've got, there'll be new moves that you've never even attempted before, maybe a new submission that you've seen on the telly that you want to drill, and you don't have a clue how to do it. So you can look, you can probably, all the videos nowadays are to throw up Kimuras and different things on people, but doesn't replace learning it off someone on the mat, does it?
No, not in person.
No.
I think I remember what I was going to say about that. Like there's also like everything you can learn. You've also got to learn when and how to use it.
Yeah.
Like I like hardcore style matches. I do. I love watching them, and I've been involved in a couple. Mm-hmm. But I understand that most of the shows I work on, those don't work.
Yeah.
Because the companies I work for are usually family shows where, the parents bring the kids and they all just do sort of stuff like that, and they just want to see easy, happy entertainment. They don't want to see two guys hitting each other with light tubes or chairs and like thumbtacks on the floor. Even though I love doing that, I know they don't want to see it, so I'm not going to use it. But then if I went to a show where they love that sort of stuff, I'm not going to go my happy clappy, come on, let's make some noise, everybody. Like you just kind of understand where you're working.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's you kind of get the crack, but some shows are weird because there's a show I work for that is like a family friendly show, but they love the hardcore stuff and they love it. And it's so weird. It's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to go happy, let's go? Or am I supposed to just go and get the chairs on and the kendo sticks and
to beat someone senseless with a strip light or sort of wave to all the mums in the audience like, how are we doing? Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's promote violence in the house.
I think the best one I saw though, it was in one of the matches I was in. It was like a 6-man. It was called a death match, but it wasn't a proper death match, I don't think. But my mate took carpet grippers to the back.
Oh,
at the edge.
God. Yeah. I've stood on a few of them in my youth. They're not. Yeah, I'm curling my toes just thinking about it.
They broke it on his back and they were sticking into his shoulders, and I'm just looking like rough. It's like, you're all right, mate. And I don't know who pulled them out. It was either the ref or the other guy, and just pulled them out, and we're like, this is a rough day. We've got about another half an hour of this match as well. Oof, this is going to hurt. She's just there like, yep, this hurts.
It's like, yeah, mate, no break falls for you, or if you do, try and keep your shoulders up, because you just, no, you don't want to get any canvas in then.
Oh, no, I don't remember what we did for the rest of that. Oh, no, I do. I remember I got hit in the back of the head with a kendo stick.
Oh,
that hurt a lot. It was like, everything was fine, every shot, but then it was total accident. I just got clipped in the head, and it was like, oof, bloody hell, that sucked. Spoke to him later, and we were all cool. We were all fine with it and stuff like that. So, but yeah, accidents happen, man. Accidents happen all the time.
Is there another wonder so many wrestlers are addicted to painkillers? Like, what you guys put your bloody bodies through, it's insane.
I understand that, like, because of the way it is, we can do it weekly. Whereas like in boxing and MMA, you can't fight weekly, can you? Because it's more, it's more legit and in your face. But like it's still weekly. It takes its toll. I split my head open at Wrestle Island as well, and that was brilliant. I love that. That was so cool. I was it was again one of those matches that I brought up before when there's a lot of people, so you just kind of mess about.
Yeah.
And it was so I was a baby face at the crowd, which means they all like me. Like I'm a good guy.
Ah, yeah, not heel.
But yeah, but there was a section of crowd who hated me, and they just really hated me, and I loved it. I was like, I've got half of you who love me, and I've got half of you who hate me. This is awesome. I can play with this so much. I can take the mick now. I can just have a laugh.
Yeah.
So I told this guy, because they brought a traffic cone so they could shout through the traffic cone, just like shout at us. So I'm outside the ring and we're near this cone, and I was like, grab the cone. So he grabs the cone, and I'm like, hit me with the cone. So he hits me with this cone, and all these guys who hate me are loving it. Like they are going mental for this. And I'm like, put it on my head. And he goes, okay. Puts it right on my head. And I'm just there now, like, I hope he knows what I want him to do now. And I wanted him to throw me into the corner. And he did. He threw me into the corner. But it was the corner post, like, that hold the ring up.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted it. But I didn't put my hands. I was supposed to put my hands in the way. But I ended up just headbutting it straight on. So this cone goes flying off. I'm like holding myself on the ring because I'm just like, whoa, that was rough. And as I sort of lift my head up, my whole forearms are just red, and I'm like, nice.
Who's bleeding?
And like, I'm just like, oh, why does my head hurt? And I go and feel it, and I've just got this gash opened up on the top of my head. And I turn and I look at him, and he's a lovely guy. He's like one of my good mates in the company, in like the wrestling scene as well. And he's just looking like, and I'm like, oh, it's me. And he's like, and then we just carried on. I had like my mum and dad in the audience as well. They're just sat watching. So I sort of turned and I looked at them, and I'm like, sorry. And they're just like, it's your red. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I can feel it. And I had to wrestle for like 3 minutes after that. It was 3 minutes is not a long time, but it was just like, because it was just dripping on the floor. It was like pooling off the head. And I'm like, oh, this is a bit rough, this. I'm tired
think I
now.
remember seeing some of the photos of you just like,
yeah.
I can't remember the name of that superhero guy who's got the red face. The Daredevil? No. So looking a bit like no, I'm thinking of Hellboy, aren't I? Looking a bit like Hellboy, you just got like crimson face because without the horns, of course. Mate, some of these injuries, this is like I used to take the mick out of wrestling when I was younger because I came from more of a martial arts side. My nan's dad was really into his boxing. She fairly liked the boxing from that, and then mum, it skipped her completely. She was into swimming. The boxing thing came down to me. So I've always been more into the sort of combat sports side of it as opposed to the wrestling entertainment side of it. I used to mock it when I was younger because I was immature and hadn't got laid at this point. But in my older age, I mean, I'd like to think we've all matured. Now we're in our mid-20s, as depressing as that sounds. I really, really respect the athleticism and so just the athletic ability in general and how some or probably most professional wrestlers throughout their career take an absolute beating. And like, you just what's his face? Is it Kurt Angle? Wrestled for the WWE.
Yeah.
Didn't he win an Olympic gold medal with a broken neck? I think he broke his
Broken
neck in
neck,
the silver medal match, was it? Because you wrestle.
Yeah.
Do you wrestle your first 3 matches on one day and then your last 2 on the second day or something like that?
Yeah.
Or do you wrestle 4 times on one day? Because I remember he broke his neck in the previous match and then still somehow won it'd have been heavyweight, wouldn't it? Would have been heavyweight probably.
Yeah, probably.
But
I think that's where he was.
Like, when did you ever hear about? I mean, maybe 50 years ago. I remember an old an old DVD I had, not an old DVD, but a DVD I had of like World Cup greatest moments. And like on the injury section, they did about, I can't remember if it was like Levi Ashen, Peter Bonetti, but a goalkeeper played a game in a World Cup with a broken arm. Just broke his arm during the game. And one of the clips was him like running up to take a goal kick, he'd boot it, and then you'd see him turn around and wince, and he'd have his arm sort of like, you know, you injure your arm, you hold it up in a sort of mock sling. You see him like hopping back to the goal line, just like, ugh. It's like, mate, he's broken his arm, just put someone. But that was like, that'd been like 1950. It was black and white, maybe 1960. So it'd have been like, oh, just pour a bit of lager on it, you'd be fine.
Pour a bit of lager on it. Bloody hell.
It's what we used to do playing rugby in Leeds, mate. We'd only ever take a flat 15. So it'd be like, do you think you're concussed? It's like, oh, maybe, but we haven't got any subs, have we? You'd be all right to play on. Oh, fucking choice, have I?
Yeah.
So I'm not driving home, am I? I've got to play on. I'm not just sit on the sideline and twiddle my thumbs watching 14 men get battered. Like, come on. I'm not going to do you like that. Probably explains a lot.
Oh, bloody hell. I really miss sport. Chatting about sport for so long now, it's just made me realise how much I actually miss it. Just going out there.
Even just like simple things like having a little kick about. Like it's one of those things like you don't realise how much you miss it until you're told you can't do it for so long, and that's especially the last couple of days. I mean, you're only in Kimmel Bay, so I can't really imagine the weather's that much different, but it's been gorgeous weather-wise.
It has. It's been so good. It's obviously the sun's going down at like what, 6:30 at night now. Yeah. So it's just nice like all the time, and it's just there like, oh yeah, I could get used to this
as well. Like just having me breakfast. I've sat in the conservatory last few days, just door open, having me breakfast, a bit of telly on, lovely sip of coffee. Like, it's just. I think it was the same last summer as well. Most of it being cooped up inside. It's just harder when the weather's a bit. Because over winter, like we had that cold snap at the start of the month. I was like, fine, keep lockdown going. I don't really want to go out in the snow anyway.
Yeah.
Like, could we shut Tesco for a few weeks? I don't really like driving to work on ice. I say ice, it was a bit of frost. I mean, we look at how much snow we get falling here, and everyone shuts the country down. They get 6 foot in Sweden, and they're like, "Man, we got work to get to." Sorry, bud.
You got to deal with it.
Get on with it. Good-looking, tough people. That's what they are.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm trying to think of any Welsh sporting memories we've got, because you don't actually support Wales, do you, you naughty little boy? I remember an instance in Euro 2016 where we were all watching Wales-England in the lawn. And I think you were the happiest man in the pub that afternoon. For a brief time.
So this is the thing, right? I'm born in England. I'm now ruining the whole gimmick. I'm like a Welsh wrestler. I'm not really Welsh. I was born in Blackburn, but I moved over when I was like 3 years old. So I know you hear these people who are like, oh yeah, I'm both. I support both. Yeah. I'm not quite like that. I watch both. I watch Wales. I love it when Wales play well. I watch England. I love it when England play well. But if England and Wales play each other, I support England. And yeah, we were in the lawn, all of us, and it was like, I think there was 10 of us.
Yeah.
Everyone is a Wales fan. And I'm just there like, come on, Jamie Vardy.
I don't know about that though, mate, because we were in real after all.
Yeah.
So I'd say
true.
Because we were in the Cobham Pen for the first half. Me and Sam were. I think were we with someone else? Was it me, Sam, and Dean? I think we were in the. There was at least 2 of us in the Cobham Pen because they have that big, the big TV in the outdoor area. But because of what time it was, the sun was just glaring on it, so we could barely see it throughout the. Because everyone was packed into the back as well. They were drinking and smoking and whatnot.
I was there. I remember.
Were you with us at the Cobham Pen?
Yeah.
You must have been the third person then. There we go. Because we moved at half time, didn't we? Because I think I don't think Jack was there, but there was loads of other people on the lawn, and we could actually see the TV. I remember the only thing I think we actually saw from the first half was Bale's free kick, because we all stood up like, how far outside do you reckon he could? I remember looking at Sam at one point during that and going, he's going to hit that. And I think Hart might miss it. I think he's going to hit that. I think he's hitting it. Is he? Oh my God, he's missed it. No, there we go. Oh, get in, son. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
go
jinx. He didn't miss it. Exactly. Yeah, it went in. He
Yeah.
didn't. I don't think he missed it. He sort of parried it into the postage stamp a little
Yeah.
bit. So I maybe sort of half jinxed Joe Hart. Sorry, pal. He used to be head and
honestly, it's
shoulders
all
above
right.
the rest.
Oh, it was some of those jokes we spoke about. Oof.
That was shocking. I've left these off the show for so long, but they're going to eke themselves
Bring
back
it
in
back.
eventually. I can't cultivate this image for too long. You've struggled with that today, haven't you, Sonny Jim?
Yeah, well, I mean, in all fairness, I don't really have an image. I have an image on shows. In real life, it's more just, if you want to see the show version, go and pay for a ticket at the shows. If you want to listen to me just chat shit on a podcast for however long, then you get me, sort of thing.
That's what I like about you, mate. Like, you're just genuine, but like, if you sort of sat down with you and had a pint, just had a chin wag for an hour, and you sort of threw in after a bit, like, oh, I'm a professional wrestler, by the way. A lot of people would probably be like, not saying like you look like a twig or you're unassuming or something, but like you sort of quite chilled out and relaxed. People would probably be like, oh, really? Fair dues. Sort of not like completely shocked, but a bit like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like, you don't have to be that person out the ring, do you? You don't have to be all macho and sort of posturing and what's the word, quite bombastic and all of that. It's sort of that keeping your ego in check outside the ring, but like no ego whatsoever, mate. If anything, I think you often undersell your capabilities.
Oh, now you're just being too kind.
No, mate, no, not at all. Fucking Welsh champion for a bit, bud. Like what have I ever been champion in? Nothing.
Yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've still got time. I'm still fairly
Always
young.
got to finish it with yet.
So. I know. That Northwest Open catchweight gold medal's looking pretty tasty, but could you imagine me against some of the big old heavyweights at a catchweight? I'd get ragdolled off the mat. I don't actually know how like they do the weight classes in jiu-jitsu because it was just when they were starting to discuss sort of what weights we'd need to get to for a competition that everything got shut down and cancelled. But preferably, I'd like to think there's something around 170, sort of like a mixed martial arts welterweight. What's 170 in boxing now? Super middleweight's 168. So would it be light cruiserweight? Something like that. I wish they'd just pick like MMA and boxing. I wish they'd just got their heads together and be like, right, can we decide what weight a weight is? Because I'm trying to do maths in my head and I'm trying to do kilograms to pounds, and we never did pounds in school. I missed that, and I'll go and ask Nan, and she doesn't know kilograms because she never did decimal back in her days. Like, can you just decide on one?
That's what the phones are for, mate. Just type in, what is this in this? That's all I
don't want to use it as a crutch, though. I try to use my phone as little as I possibly can, which, that's why I've not bothered with TikTok or anything like that, because it's just another social media app I don't want to get addicted to or anything. I mean, it doesn't really seem my thing either, to be honest with you. I think the UFC's got a TikTok page now, which concerns me, but I'm not gonna touch out the barge pole.
Yeah, social media is a whole other thing that we could have like a massive chat about, but
let's not.
I'm not the biggest fan. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. I've got Facebook and that's pretty much it. I don't use anything else. Don't like anything else. If I didn't have to have Facebook for contacts to speak to people, I'd probably get rid of it. It's just such a good tool to speak to other wrestlers and stuff, but if I didn't need it for that, I'd probably get rid of it.
Yeah, it's the other keeping in touch with your mates as well, because most people have got Messenger. You can call on it now as well. It is just super handy, and pretty much everyone signed up for it. If it wasn't for Messenger, I rarely post on Facebook. I probably wouldn't even have an account anymore. Same with I'll probably if it's my friend's birthday, I'll probably just text them happy birthday if I got their number, or I'll just message them. I won't find 30 pictures to slap on the wall of, 30 pictures from 2 years ago when we were actually mates. Weird.
It's horrible with birthdays because I feel dead bad because I miss a load of people, because usually you get like a little notification, don't you? And it goes, it's so-and-so's birthday and like 10 others. So I normally see the notification and just like get rid of it straight away. It's like, but you miss like actual friends' birthdays and you're like, oh shit, forgot about that. Sorry.
Or it's just like, I'll check that out later, and then it just gradually slips lower down the list until you can't see it, and then you're just like, oh,
that line is
great. Some anti-vaxxers yelling at me again, calling me a bloody sheep. Great, fantastic.
That line that you just said then, I'll check it out later. That's going to be on my gravestone. Like, I do that with everything. It's I'll check it later, and then it just goes all the way down. And you're like, oh, I forgot to check that. It's been 10 days. Oh, I'll leave it now.
My list of things I'm going to check or do later is probably a good factor in the deforestation of the rainforests. Like, it's that long at this point. So I'd like to apologise to the humble people of the Amazon.
Oh my god.
Mate, I'm exactly the same. I don't know if it's a generational thing with us where we'll just palm things off because we can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like,
if I've got to ring an insurer, like I've got to sort my car insurance, or like or ring the doctors for X, Y, or Z reason, or you got to speak. Oh mate, I had to get my wisdom tooth pulled a couple of weeks ago. So like being on the phone to the dentist, I hate doing things like that. So I can't just email you and tell you what's up.
Yeah, and just get back to me in 3 to 5 working days. I don't mind.
Yeah, it's just fine. Whenever. Die in peace. I'm
in no rush. Just whenever you're free.
Yeah, exactly. I don't expect them to fit me in right now. As people dying of COVID, I don't think my little bit of toothache's really important.
Toothache though, it's horrible, isn't it, mate? It's absolutely horrible.
Honestly. I just wanted to go in there with a pair of pinchers and just yank it out. That's probably the worst thing you can do in that situation.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, mate, jaw was on the floor a couple of weeks. So that was the other thing. It was when the Sportinarium guys asked me to bring the show onto their platform. It started playing up then, and I was starting to get interviews with people. I'm like, this bloody would happen now that I've actually got to properly speak to people, and I'm going to be like, don't laugh at me, by the way. I'm not being weird. My mouth just hurts. Like, well, why are you talking to me then, idiot? Don't know.
Oh, my God. I just wanted to do this. I'm sorry.
Just trying to make friends, okay? Just help. That is the sad fact of my life. But let's not open that can of worms today, because we're not trying to depress everyone. We're trying to talk about the exactly. We're trying to talk about the good aspects of your wrestling career as well. I'm not going to keep you for too much longer, mate, because we've covered a hell of a lot today. We haven't really spoken about any music though, and I did introduce you at the start as my good gig buddy as well. I was trying to think of all the people we've seen together before. The Trivium and Kill Switch was the first one.
That was the first one. I think that's my favourite one as well.
It's probably the best lineup we've seen in terms of all bands on the docket. We just blew it out of the water.
So it was Battlecross.
Yes, they were on first. Miss May I were on after, and then Trivium came on first.
Yeah. Then Kill Switch. Yeah. Like I think the whole thing about that as well. Like I didn't know you were before we saw that. I think that's how we actually knew each other, because we were just in college together.
Yeah.
And it was like, does anyone want to go to Kill Switch and Trivium? I will.
Just looking around.
Who are you?
Any takers?
Like, who are you? I'm Ryan. Nice to meet you, mate. But you like Kill Switch and Trivium, so I like you. You're a cool dude. We'll go see Kill Switch and Trivium.
I think I knew you a little bit because you met Quilt and Joe. Quilt did music tech with me, and we knew Joe because he did music tech as well, didn't he? But I think he did level 2. So he was.
Joe was the year after. He didn't come in. He wasn't in the same year as me.
The year after, did he? No.
Mm.
Oh no,
it was definitely.
he started a year after us doing music, didn't he?
Yeah. It was definitely through Quilt. Like I knew of you, but I didn't really know
Yeah.
you very well, and I didn't know like any of that side. And it was just like cool Trivium kill switch. But yeah, who else was it? Because we've seen Sleeps, haven't we?
Yeah, you guys came up to you and Joe came up to Leeds. That was 2
Yes,
years ago, quite recently. You sent me
it was. Yeah,
a photo of that. Oh, that was hilarious again, mate. Oh my god.
that
A lot
that.
of
Whew,
lot of drunken antics.
yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It was quite
Mate, I wrestled the day after that.
did you
Speaking
actually?
about wrestling, I wrestled the day after.
Yes,
Yeah.
because your dad came to pick you up and he had all the stuff in the van, didn't he, to go to a
Yep.
show. God, I completely forgot.
And
Yeah, because you bought your belt as well, didn't
oh
you? Because I
my God.
remember I got my photo
Yeah.
with the strap on the
Yeah.
shoulder. I'll have to dig that out.
Oh,
I'll have to dig that
you will
out
have
for
to
the
dig that
promo
out.
for this.
Definitely. Oh, mate, that was. I wrestled the day after that, and I woke up on the floor at your place feeling like someone just battered me, like absolutely, just like, oh my God, what time is it? I looked at my phone and it's like, oh my God, my dad's going to get me in an hour. I've got to go and wrestle in like 3 hours. I turn up to this venue and I am still hungover as hell. Like,
mate.
I'm not going to mention the show because if the booker ends up watching this, he'll be like, you came to my show hungover. And I'm like, mate, I'm pretty sure I came to your show still pissed. But, so I did this match and then I did a run in the main event or something, and they had to do a dive off the top rope to the outside. And they were all going to catch me, and they all do.
Yep.
But they catch like the right side of my body, and then my left side just falls, and I just hit the floor. So I'm just lying on the ground after jumping off the top rope. Like, I'm still too hungover for this. My head really hurts. I want to go to bed. But it was brilliant. Like the owner he's just stood over in the corner looking at me like, God's sake, Ryan, God's sake. I'm like, I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
I tried. I'm sorry.
I tried my best.
Oh man.
No,
I completely forgot you went to wrestle after that. That's crazy. I've played like rugby a few times with a hangover, like played hockey hungover, and it's complete. Rugby is probably more similar because there's like way more contact, but actually having to remember moves that you've scripted to go throughout the show or like remembering. So how do it? You have like points to hit during a match, so you might know how you're starting off, and then you'll trade a few blows, and then you'll have a set move that you've got to work after a while to advance the match slightly.
It's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are very like Macho Man, Randy Savage back in the golden era. He used to like script everything. Everything was scripted to a T. Mm-hmm. And everything was scripted perfectly and it had to go that way. I've had matches where it's been like that, where I've gone in the guy and we both want to get everything down to a T just to make it the best performance. But then saying that, I've been in matches where you go up to the guy and they go, right, what's your finish? And they go, this. And they go, okay, I'll see you later. And he's just like, all right, cool. We're not going to talk about it. It's fine. And there's a structure that comes with wrestling when you've done it for so long that you kind of know what to do. Mm-hmm. You don't need to talk about it too much. Yeah. And it was with Keith Myatt that happened with me. And he's a really good lad, is Keith Myatt. He was one of the older boys, but he's that old school generation where he just goes to me, he's like, what's your finish? And I said it and he went, all right, I'll see you later. We'll go out there and we'll get that in. And I was like, all right, cool. Nice one. I was well excited for that. I just went out there and I was like, I have no idea what we're going to do today. This is going to be fun. Probably get battered.
I guess in some cases, if it's really overscripted and really over rehearsed, the crowd might sometimes get an idea. But that can happen the other way around. If you might be able to see that you're both a bit tentative and you've not practiced or you've not discussed what's going through it all. But also you can have the complete flip side of that where you've got a vague idea. You know, you've both been doing it for a while. You've got a vague idea what you're doing, so you can have a bit more of an organic flow to the match where it feels like you're actually sort of half fighting, because you're not just trying to sort of get them up against the ropes after so long, sort of trying to, you know, if your finish is against the ropes like that, or you're not trying to specifically get them into a position to, you just try a few things out, sort of go with it, get the crowd a bit more amped up for the finish.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like you don't want it to look too choreographed, because then it just takes it all out. It's clear what you're doing, but you don't want it to look like you both just never even met each other before.
Mm-hmm.
You want like a happy medium where it looks like a real fight. It is going. You both know what's going on, but you just, for a minute, you want like the parents in the audience to go, "Oof, bloody hell, that was good."
Yeah.
Because wrestling's for the kids, so the kids will believe you whatever you do. Like you could do like the worst punch that like misses by like that much, and they'll still go, "Yay!" But like the parents in the crowd will go, "Shit, that he missed him, didn't even hit him." But if you're in the ring, it happens, mate. I've heard it. I've been in the ring and I've heard people go, "You didn't even hit him," and it's like, "Well, you do one."
Shh, go away.
I'm trying to doing a job here. Will you leave me alone?
It's like the magician where there's the guy like, I could see the trap door for a fella. Like, dude, shut up.
Just shut it. Like, God.
It's in his pocket.
Yeah. Like kind of the little goal for the older, like the parents, is when you do a punch and you get it like that and it's close and you get him to go for a minute, like, did he just punch him then? This is fake. Did he actually hit him? Ooh, that's I might watch this. And then you do it again later on and they're like, he definitely hit him then. Maybe this is a little bit more real, even though we know what it is. Like for 10 minutes per match or for 2 hours of a show, you just want everyone to spend their belief for however long it is, just like think. Because if fans think it's more real, they have a better time.
Yeah.
And it's our job to make it feel as real as possible so that they have the best time and they come back. That's kind of how we try and do our thing. Because I've seen it before where there's guys who wrestle on the show and they suck, and it's clear, and like you can just see the fans, they do not care for it, and they're like, I wish I can go home soon, sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, so do I.
Paid to come to a show as well, you know, I guess you expect a certain standard of entertainment. You know, it can't just be a couple of lads you've rounded up a week before, like, oh, hey, doing a wrestling match. You guys are seeing it on the telly, right? Do you want to do a couple of cripple creeks and a couple of backflips off the telly? You know, you probably won't be able to do any of that. You might teach you how to throw on a guillotine or something and catch them standing if you're lucky. But it's like, what? It's like in the MMA sometimes someone will get caught out with a weird submission. The crowd doesn't know what's going on. And like the ref will wave it off the fight. Will get up and be like, wait, what's going on there? How do you get him? What's what?
Yeah.
You'll see people looking around like, did he even fucking, what was that? Did he get with a toe hold or something? What's going on? Don't know if anyone's ever been caught with a toe hold before. That was one of the last subs we learned, because we were doing some no-gi stuff. Because one of the lads, he was meant to have an MMA fight coming up, but it might still happen because I think it's June or July, but they might have to push it back probably. So we were doing a lot of no-gi jiu-jitsu because you don't wear a gi doing MMA, do you? What's the point in learning how to sort of relying on sort of lapel grips and stuff when you got nothing to grab onto? So, I completely forgot the point I was making now, to be honest.
Toe hold stuff.
Yeah,
people
that was one of the last
see.
submissions we learned, because we were doing a lot of no-gi stuff. And in that, a lot of foot locks, leg locks, heel hooks. They have been made legal now. I think either brown belt or black belt in a gi, you can do heel hooks now. But it used to be only in no gi you can do that because the Gracies didn't like them. They think they're too dangerous. And the thing with a footlock, for example, is I don't know if you've ever been put in a footlock before, but when you feel it coming on and it starts to hurt, that's when the damage has already been done. So you have to sort of tap as soon as it gets put on, or if you feel your Achilles tweaking, it's already gone. So there's nothing you can. Same with heel hooks, you
Really?
feel them come on when you tap,
Bloody
when it
hell.
hurts. It's already damage is already done. So yeah, we were
So already done.
I think it's the honey hold position. It's one of Eddie Bravo's 10th planet pot smoking alien jiu-jitsu position. We've got some weird name. Like we were learning rubber guard as well. Like rubber guard's fine because it's MMA jiu-jitsu. So it's a way you're in full guard, but using your leg on top of their shoulder so they can't posture up to strike. And then you can something like you put the meat hook in, and then if you bring your other leg up, it's called double bagging. And then you have to, I can't remember the name of the thing, to get your arm to the right side so you can meat hook, but that's got a weird, some of the names he comes up with, but this is also a man who thinks the earth's flat as a penny. So, you know, great jiu-jitsu champion, don't get me wrong, phenomenal black belt. And if I ever got the chance to train at 10th Planet, I would be straight on that mat. But a little bit too much pot smoke from Eddie Bravo, I think. Phenomenal jiu-jitsu champion, though. I will never berate that man, and he is effing hilarious as well on Joe Rogan, mate. Honestly, he's just so weird.
Mate.
I love him. He's so weird. I just love weird people. I mean, look at me. Like,
Is that why you got me on this podcast? Because I'm a weirdo.
I love you, mate. I love weird people. I can't beat it.
I rock it. I dig it.
I'm not going to keep you for too much longer if I said that before. I digressed from the music question. My actual question was, we've seen a fair few bands together, you know. Is there anyone in particular that you've heard in the last year or two that you would like to see most of all live when gigs are back on, if that makes sense? I've worded that terribly, but do you get the gist of it?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Anyone kind of new. There's not been too much new music I've been listening to. I have this tendency to revert back to old stuff a lot.
Me too.
Yeah, I think probably most people do. It's just like a new album comes out and you listen to it and you go, oh, I prefer this one instead. And you end up just listening to the old stuff from like 10 years ago and you're like, yeah. But with that being said, Architects released a new album like last week. I've been massively listening heavily to that and I want to see them. I saw them last year or the year before and they were great live in Victoria Warehouse. So I want to do that again because that was phenomenal. Yeah,
fair play. We saw them years ago. It was before was it the guitar player? One of the brothers passed away, didn't he?
Yeah. So Dan is the drummer and his brother Tom passed away.
Tom, was it cancer he passed away for? Yeah, I think we saw them while he was still in the band. So they were phenomenal. We saw him at the Ritz.
Yeah.
They had a really good line. Oh, who was supporting that night? It was Miss May I were there. So we saw them again. No, it wasn't them. Sorry, it was Blast the Fall. They're quite similar. Really weird emo style names as well. Why does it have to be three words that don't really fit together?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
3 words that have no sense being together whatsoever.
Well, Blast the Fall's one word as well. So it's like, I remember the first time I was trying to read it, was like, Bleselafal. What? And I think Dan was like, bless the fall, you idiot. I'm like, well, that's stupid, isn't it? You're stupid. I'm like, look at your hair, mate. You're stupid. No, every time I die, that was the really heavy band that was supporting. They were brilliant, mate.
Every time I die. Have I seen them? It's at the point I forget who I've seen. I really do.
Mate, I've all the Manchester Academy ticket stubs. I've literally got like a pink A4 folder just sort of stuffed to the gills of them.
Just full of them.
Gig tickets from Leeds, well, just every gig. I've lost a few because they've been in my pocket and got wet or it's fallen out my pocket leaving a venue. But I've tried to keep every ticket I've taken to a gig, which is why I hate all these new e-tickets I do. And I know it's not environmentally friendly, but I just want a fucking ticket to look at. Thank you. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I like it. And eventually,
I want something physical.
when I'm old and I've got fuck all to do with my life, I'm just going to sit down and frame them all because, yeah, I'm a sad bastard. Deal with it. But it'll look pretty.
Nothing
So
wrong with that, mate.
it'll look pretty.
Yeah.
I don't care. I've still got the first While She Sleeps ticket. Me, Sam O'Brien, Ben and Les got the train to Crewe, tiny little venue called The Box. You've heard the legend of Parkway Drive kid who knocked some kid's tooth out in the mosh pit, haven't you? What a wanker. Yeah. He was one of those sort of beach body metal lads, you know, they have the big buys and tries, and then they're just like a little thin slice of off-cut pizza down the rest of him. So sort of big beefy arms and a tank top, and he just like full on. It wasn't even like an uppercut. It was more like a shovel punch. Like shoveled this kid across the room, and then the next thing you see, like 10 seconds later, he's on his hands and knees with his phone torch, looking about like, lost. I think it was a crown that he punched off of his teeth. So he was looking for his crown off his tooth, and this guy was full on karate in the mosh pit. Like, I wish I knew jiu-jitsu back then. Throw on a flying triangle or so. You're like, how about that then?
When we had one of them when we went to Askin, didn't we?
Oh, mate, it's metalcore. Those shows are rife for it. Oh, mate, that was a wit. Was that the Halloween show? And then went to a Halloween party afterwards.
Yeah, that was cool though. That was a good day. That was a great day. That was a very good party. Yeah, we just go to this gig on the way home, get invited to a party, and I'm like, yo, Martin, do you want to come to a party?
Oh, yeah, because it was Friday night after college, wasn't it? Because I think we finished a bit early on the Friday, so we'd had a few beers before the train. And that. So I think we probably drank for about 12 hours plus.
Yeah.
Real. Love it.
Real.
No,
Keep it real.
That was so many funny nights like that, mate. Have we ever been to like a big arena show or anything like that? It's usually just the little gigs we go, or like the sort of academy club shows we go to. It's
usually the smaller ones. I think we've seen Trivium and Killswitch was the biggest. I think that was in the academy.
Yeah, Asking Alexandria was there as well. Hollywood Undead.
Oh yeah,
you came to that. Yeah, it was you, me, and Quill. I think.
Yeah,
that was the same. That finished really early though.
It finished well early. It was like
we always used to book the last train, but the curfew was an hour earlier for some reason.
Yeah, so we just like sat in a bus stop, didn't we? And we're just like, all right, this is cool.
We actually had time to go to McDonald's on Oxford Road, which like you're always hoping the gig finished a bit early and you could get to Mackey's before the train, but it never would. Never any dice for that, mate.
And we've seen UFO.
Yeah.
We've seen UFO twice, is it?
Seen him twice, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, both times in Yorkshire. There was Holmfirth and Leeds, wasn't it?
Yeah. Didn't you get started on Holmfirth?
Yeah, by a load of fucking coked up middle-aged people because they just decided they were like standing right on my toes in front of me. It's like, dude, come on, can you not like shift forward a bit?
Yeah, they were massive.
It's like, also, you've got flour on your nose, but if you're trying to hide the fact you've just come back from doing a line in the toilet, like, can you not fucking check a mirror and make sure you got no powder on your shops, mate? Come on, bad etiquette.
It's rude.
It is just rude. It's like, if you want to be fucking off to the bathroom, do lines of coke every 10 minutes, maybe stand at the back, knobhead. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It is just rude. The UFO were quality both times, though, mate. Shame they've...
they were so good.
They're not touring anymore. No, they're all retired.
Finished now. They're retired. Obviously, it's music, so you never know how long they're actually going to stay retired for, but I think it might be the last now. I remember standing out until like 2 a.m. as well in the Leeds one.
Oh, yeah.
Because my dad wanted an autograph, the little mark.
You had Phil's autograph, didn't you?
We got it.
We got it. Yeah.
I think we met them all, but Vinny, I think everyone came down, but Vinny.
Wait, which one? I know. Met the bass player.
Yeah, he was well nice. He had a proper chat with us, didn't he?
Which one's Vinny? Vinny's not the... Oh, no, Vinny's the other guitar player, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think only one of the guitarists came down, didn't he? Oh, no, it was the chap that passed away that came down. The left-handed guy with the long hair. Played keyboard. He played keys as well, didn't he?
Yes.
I feel so shit. I can't remember his name.
No, I can't. But I'm terrible with names.
Oh, same.
Faces all day. Names horrible.
Did you
Oh,
come to
but that
Slam
was
Dunk
good.
in
I've
Leeds? Did you
never
come
been
to
to a
Slam Dunk that
festival.
year?
No, I've never been to a festival.
I was. No, I think it might have been less actually, because first year we went to Slam Dunk. It was Panic at the Disco headlining, but we'd nipped out to get Mackey's like mid some point during the day. Miss May I had been on like an hour before, maybe. We'd seen them, they were brilliant. Just Mackey's was rammed, so we were just eating on the floor outside. Bloody Levi from Miss May I Screamer just walks past.
Just walks
So
in.
just strike up a convo. Yeah, sorry, I thought that was you with me then, but
No.
last we just struck up a convo with her, chatting for about 10 minutes about just life in general. Lovely lad. But yeah, weird. You just walking around like a festival, you bump into people. We not to speak to, but we saw Padge from Bullet for My Valentine at Download one year.
Oh,
Waved
fantastic.
at him. We had a Wales flag, so I think it was that flag we had actually behind my head. I have a flag behind my head for anyone who's just listening on the radio or Spotify. But like we saw Padge and another virtuoso guitar guy, Andy James. Andy James from that Sacred Mother Tongue band. So them two were chilling. That was pretty cool. And I've been like as far as it is from where I'm sat to the door from Chino Moreno at Sonosphere, which is awesome. From Deftones.
Sonosphere.
Oh, mate.
Sonosphere.
What? That came back for 1 year, and me and Sam were all over that. And I
haven't heard that.
Sorry,
I just haven't heard that name in years. Sonosphere.
I clamour for Nebworth House to do a festival again, mate. If they redid Sonosphere, I'd go to a metal festival, 100%. Like, they've cancelled Download again. They're bringing it back in a year. Guess who it is again? The Iron Maiden. I love Iron Maiden. You know, I used to be obsessed with Iron Maiden. You full well know how much I used to love Iron Maiden. Why are they still headlining Download? They're like so old.
Yeah.
Just like stop regurgitating the same headliners out every single bloody time. How many bands like Trivium and Killswitch, and none are coming off the top of my head right now, but there's always been that sort of core of bands in metal and sort of heavy rock that have always been like, they need that one record to push them to that, sort of like how Muse jumped up. I know they're not a metal band. They just jumped up that extra level and became headliners. Like Trivium had the chance and then they dropped in Waves, and it's like, ugh, dude, come on, like average at best. You've always had a few coming through, and it's like, I really think they're going to be massive. While She Sleeps for me as well, I thought they were going to have a Bring Me the Horizon style jump up to. I mean, Bring Me the Horizon did it, but they just like sort of Disneyed up their sound completely. They sort of went the opposite way. Yeah, I just always thought it was a shame for people like Trivium to not really ever make like supporting Metallica on tour before and stuff like that. Actually, Matt Heafy was one of the first few famous people I was aware of that did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because his Instagram was either guitar covers, just him playing on his guitar, or pictures of him or videos of him on the mat. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
So that's the first thing that like drew me to Jiu-Jitsu. I was like, what's this thing that Matt Heafy's doing where he's choking people out? I'm pretty sure that's what they do in MMA. Like, oh yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Cool. But yeah, I could honestly, we could sit here and debate all those bands all day that have never quite jumped up to the shoulda, coulda, woulda.
You should do it. You should make another podcast just about music, and I'll come on that one and we'll just chat about bands for 2 hours.
Honestly, mate, we could fill up another 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of airtime. Just not even talking about bands, just talking about our memories of gigs and opinions of bands. Like, not even spouting any facts, or just be like, okay, bloody, I don't know, Korn, go.
Korn, I was never a massive fan. Saw them live, love them. After that, yeah, pretty much. They supported Slipknot, didn't they? And I was never big on them.
Did you go to Manchester show?
Yes, I didn't go with you. I went to the day after, I think, or 2 days after.
It was my 18th birthday in Liverpool.
Yeah.
That was
so yeah, like I was never the biggest fan. I saw them live. I thought they smashed it. I thought they did better than Slipknot. And I still, I wouldn't say I listen to them now, but like after that, I'm like, oh yeah, they're cool. Like them now.
That
I
was
thought they did so well.
Mate, they were so good. Considering they were sandwiched in the middle. I don't know why they brought King 810 on tour at all. They should never have been playing in a stadium that big, considering like the music just doesn't fill an arena. It might be sort of good in like a little club or a dingy little bar, but I think it's only because of that. Probably because they're on the same. Oh, what was it? Was it Roadrunner or Nuclear Blast? I can't remember. Whatever label they were on. I think all three bands are on the same label, so they're probably just like, oh, this is a young band we want to push. Why don't you take them on tour? Even though the frontman's a bit of a psycho by all.
By all the stories you hear.
I thought it was kind of cool how he'd like written an album on a tape recorder in prison, but I also was like, okay, but what did he go to prison for? Like, is it bad? Should we be like hyping this guy up?
Worried.
And Korn were the only band I've seen at an arena that have caused a circle pit to get going in a seated area. Like those ones, because it came out to Blind.
Yeah.
And it just has it just like gradually builds up with the layers and I just saw the floor started spinning as soon as the lights went. I was like, okay. Look across to on the balconies because we're in the seats as well. Because like tickets have gone quite quickly. Look across, there's people sort of like doing a circle pit around by where a staircase is and like sort of jumping back. It's like what? What? You're just looking in disbelief, looking at your mates like, what are we witnessing right now? They were so good though. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'd say the Blue Slip. I really enjoyed watching Slipknot, don't get me wrong, but I think I'd sort of grown out of Corey Taylor a bit by then. He's just a bit of a knobhead for my liking. Too likes the sound. I mean, I can't say anything. I do a podcast, but he likes the sound of his own voice, and he's full of shit.
I think most people do, though, don't they? Like, most people like the sound of their own voice. But I enjoyed Slipknot, but I was gutted I was seated. Because I was seated again. Tickets went really quick, and I wanted to be standing. So they toured the year after, I think, and I was like, I've got to go. I've got to get standing. I've got to do it at least once. And I did it, and it was sick. It was in Leeds, in the Direct Arena. That's such a cool arena as well.
One of the best standing bits in an arena. Because the standing area is really small, isn't it? Because the seats are like tiered on a really steep angle, aren't they? Yeah, they're tiered really high.
Such a cool venue.
I love that place. It's a great place. Used to work across the road from that actually at the Capita building. I was only there for a few months, but the Capita building was right across from the arena. Clay Pit Lane, that's the name that I was trying to tell someone the name of the street in Leeds I used to work on, and I drew a blank for 2 days, and then I just remember Clay Pit Lane then.
And it's just popped in now.
Literally, because I was looking at Google Maps and we had like ordering an Uber to Clay Pit Lane because I'm running late for work or whatever. Couldn't remember yesterday when I was trying to tell someone. Brain fart right back in there. No, me and Sam have walked away from Slipknot at Download before.
Have you?
They were just 2015, I think. It was a good year, don't get me wrong. Slipknot were headlining the Friday. Muse were headlining the Saturday. They were like quite good as well. We were giving them shit all week. I was like, why Muse at Download? That's not metal. And there was Kiss on the Sunday night. And Kiss were being propped up by Motley Crue on the Sunday night. So I was like, you know. And like, it had been chucking. It was gorgeous Wednesday and Thursday. Got there, bright, beautiful sunshine. That's the one where Dan drank a whole bottle of Jameson and nearly passed out in the heat. I think we've told you about that. Don't really want to open that can of worms because it's going to drag this episode on so long for you. But chucked it down all day Friday as it would because it's the first day of music. Typical. Faith No More was supporting Muse. That's the band I couldn't remember then. I mean, that was the first time that was the second time I saw them and I was so happy. Slipknot were just so bad. Like, I think it was like the third time in 5 years they'd headlined. And like,
Yeah.
the show is meant to be all like aggression and energy, and it just felt flat. I don't know if it was because of the weather and all of that, but Corey Taylor just
Yeah.
annoyed me to another level than he normally does with his, you motherfuckers are gonna do what the, you're gonna sit the fuck down now and jab us. Corey, it's been chucking it down for 12 hours. I'm not sitting in a fucking puddle in the middle of spit it out just to keep you happy, my friend. If you're going to dry my arse off before I get into my tent, then maybe we'll talk. Here's my idea, pal. That tent looks dry. I'm going to go in there and watch Fight Star. Thank you very much. So, fuck off. We somehow managed to elbow our way in. So we were just under the canvas. And it's like, oh, dude, it's Charlie Simpson from Busted.
Yeah.
No way. That's like my whole childhood.
Yeah. Like it's
They
all
were
come
brilliant,
back.
mate. They were brilliant.
They are so good. I saw them in the Ritz, and I have no idea who the support was. I think it was a band called Fuzzy Blood and Making Monsters.
Fizzy Blood.
I don't like fizzy or fuzzy.
I've heard of Fizzy Blood.
And Making Monsters. I didn't pay attention to any of that. And it was just as soon I was just at the bar drinking on my I was with Joe, but we're just at the back drinking, just like it's not Charlie yet. And I went down, I just went, and they were phenomenal live. They were so good, like way better than they had any right to be. And it was like,
yeah,
this has been sick. Why have I never done this before? Why has this been such a good gig? But yeah.
Well, I mean, they were good enough to draw a few of us. I don't know if it was due to the weather, but that tent was like crowded. They were not as bad as Sonosphere. That year we went, there was like the second stage. They had two special shows on. It was Therapy doing, I think they were doing Infernal Love in its entirety as a headline set.
Okay.
And Sisters of Mercy as well, playing their first show in ages. They were the last band I saw before lockdown, actually. I was dead happy I got to see them. Thank you, Ella. But both of those shows, because they'd staggered the bands. So the band, it was a third stage because the two big outdoor stages, one was like that way in front of you, and the second stage was like behind you. So they'd stagger the bands. So you walk to the first stage for the first band of the day, and then while they're switching that stage over, you turn around. There's a band on behind you. Like, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
But the 10 stages, like third stage, was that full. They literally had security people on each exit with like big like picket signs, like tent full, sorry, no more. This was like an hour before the Sisters of Mercy or an hour before Therapy started. It's like, oh my God, we are not getting in here at all today. Fuck it, let's just go watch Metallica. It's just like crazy. It was like that, but not as full for Fight Star. Probably because a lot of people, in fairness, will have gone there to see Slipknot, but they did that whole promo thing. I think they got rid of Joey Jordison, and they got the new bass player to replace Paul Gray. Because I know they got what's the guy's name? Max Weinberger from the E Street band, Bruce Springsteen's band. His son is Slipknot's drummer. I think it's Jay.
Yeah, it's Jay
Weinberger. He's Max Weinberger's
I think he's all right.
He's a good drummer. He's no Joey Jordison though. Solid
no, he's not.
Drummer though. Like he does the job for Slipknot that they need.
Yeah, he posts like a lot of videos like right behind him just from his song, just like pretty much posts them every day. I don't watch him, but Joe usually sends me them like, oh, look at this, it's sick, and I'll just like get it on and be like, yeah, it is, to be fair. But yeah, he isn't the Joe he was, but no. Yeah, he does the job, and he does it good.
When you get to a point like that, you probably can just get some guy in who can play the part and just sort of mimic what Jordison did. But in the early foundations of a band, like with Avenged Sevenfold, they've gone through two drummers since the Rev died. They had that young lad for a while, and I felt everyone sort of blamed him for why the album sucked. Was it Hail to the King wasn't great, was it? I mean, I didn't think Nightmare was too good, to be honest with you, but you couldn't criticize that album because the Rev wrote it while he was dying.
Yeah.
or they wrote a few songs about him on it, so you couldn't criticize the
Yeah.
album, even though you could tell the songs the Rev wrote because they were the good ones on the album. But
Yeah.
like, was it Aaron something on a Hail to the King? He got blamed for that. I mean, he's only the drummer. He's not the primary songwriter of the band.
Mm.
It's not his fault that they decided to strip everything back really bare. Because for me, Avenged Sevenfold, it was like that high tempo sort of alt metalcore crossover.
Yeah.
You have the really fast drum parts, all double kicks all day, really speedy rolls.
Yeah.
Not just like Metallica Harvester of Sorrow, like dum 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 dum, just like really heavy tom slaps,
Yeah.
sort of really low driven beats. They were just trying to make the Black Album on that record, and they literally ripped off Sad But True. I think their second song was a direct copy of Sad But True by Metallica. It was pathetic.
Yeah. This Means War, it was called. This Means War, It's just the same as Sad But True.
It's pretty much
when it started, I was like,
done a cover.
Yeah, I think it is. I was just listening to it and I was like, oh, cool, yeah, they've covered Sad But True, nice one. And it's like, nope, they haven't. What is this? What's going on here?
Well, there was a
This is
Foo
weird.
Fighters
It's not
song.
as good.
There was a Foo Fighters song which, it was that Sonic Highways. You know my opinion of Dave Grohl. I'm not going to open that can of worms. But the second half of the song, the Holy Diver riff by Dio. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
It switched halfway through to a different song altogether. It was just the Holy Diver riff being played with slightly different intonations. It's like,
oh man,
whoa, wait, what's this? What's it? It's like, excuse me, if the estate of Marvin Gaye are gonna sue Robin Thicke and Pharrell for encapsulating a vibe on Blurred Lines, then you have to sue Dave Grohl for ripping off Holy Diver. That is utter bollocks. You cannot pick and choose when copyright is infringed upon. It's either a copyright infringement or it's fucking, what is it?
Oh, it's not
it's royalty free, or you can't pick and choose.
Fair use or whatever.
Fair use, yeah. You can't pick and choose what's a rip off and what's not a rip off. Things are either ripped off or they're not. Like, stop with all these blurred lines. Oh, I did not think that. I just shoehorned it in at the end. God, you must hate me so much right now.
No, not at all. It's nice to be able to actually have a chat with you and see a fresh face, really.
Yeah, it's
just
fun.
making me want. It's just making me want to go to the north. That's all I want to do now. I want to go to the north.
I said to you before we got on, mate, I just want to have a flat pint for about £2, sit on a rickety wooden chair on a beer-soaked table watching a local band who probably should have rehearsed more, but my bands never really did, so I'm not going to criticize, in a on a system where Raston's doing his best with the sound, but they really need to buy that guy some new hardware. You can't polish a turd, you can only wrap it in tinfoil.
No.
Mate, I'm fully on board, and I'd like to think all these people putting this rhetoric forward. Oh my God, yeah, when lockdown's over, support local bands and go to local shows. I hope they actually do for a change.
Yes.
Every time it's in the news that the music industry is struggling, it's always, go and support your local venues. And then you'll put a gig on, and who shows up apart from your mates and the other bands? Barely anyone.
No
and
one.
Then people will complain like, oh, there's no scene where I live. No one ever puts shows on. Yeah, there is. Go to the pubs, find out where the local venues are that put bands on. Find out some of your mates are playing bands. They might know some places. Same with sport as well. People go on prattle all this rhetoric about supporting grassroots football. I'm sure it's the same for wrestling fans wanting to support independent wrestling promoters. And then when BWP put a show on locally, and they'll be like, oh, I didn't hear about it. But you'll fucking pay £30 and stay up till 4 a.m. to watch a WWE. Like, come on. You gotta put your money where your mouth is. What good are hollow words without action?
Very true. Very true.
Very profound. I have bent your ear for nearly 2 hours now, buddy boy. I love talking
2
to you.
hours?
Nearly, mate. We started just after 6:30, and it's nearly 8:30 now. So
wow.
That's not the real time if you're listening live on Sportinarium, by the way. It's probably more around 9 if the show starts at 7. Yeah, probably around 9 o'clock now. Don't ask me for times. Check your phone. You're probably listening to this on a computer anyway. You've got a clock in your corner. Before I let you go, no one's ever I've never had a fighter or a wrestler on the podcast as a guest before. You can't really call people out if you're a rugby player or a football manager, can you? Do you want to be the first guest on this show to either cut a promo or call someone out, do something like that? Because floor is yours, my friend. It's all there. Is there anyone that's been talking smack while you've been out? Anyone you need me to go in there and footlock for you? You asked for questions before. I sent you a list of questions.
That's very true. That's very true.
See, this is what I was saying before, kids. Prep.
I'll tell you what I can do. I haven't been in character for about a year now, maybe a year and a half. It's been February. So I've got no stories leading up. I've got nothing to work with. However, I'm going to try and make one. I'm going to make something now, and I'm going to try and get a bit of buzz, get a bit of buzz on the socials. So if any of the wrestlers are watching this, especially Matt Fox, I gave you the best present you've ever had in wrestling before, because if I had taken that title match that I was supposed to have with you, that title will be with me right now. I gave you the gift of a 401-day title reign. And Matt, lockdown's almost over. And so is your title reign.
Oh, that is spine-chilling stuff, my friend. Mr. Fox, you... I don't like to throw the term paper champion around too often. And me being a non-wrestler, I probably shouldn't open my mouth because I'm going to get myself into trouble. But also, Ryan, if you need a manager to sort of be in there, I've got a sheepskin coat. I can borrow a trilby out the loft or something. You didn't have to be the champion, mate. And you've got this belt. You want to be a proper champion. You cannot take the crown while the king's away on holiday and then expect to have him coronate you when he comes back from injury. No. In my opinion, as a humble combat sports fan, Matt Fox, you're going to have to defend this belt against Mr. No Fear. Ryan Lloyd is coming for your ass. You better watch out, buddy boy.
I love it. Brilliant.
That was
fantastic.
Got to
start making noise.
It's got to start making noise. No, good for you to get back into character as well. I saw the light in your eyes start to glint. You're just like, get it, son.
I've just got a massive smile now as well. If anyone's listening on Spotify or whatever other forms you've got on, you can't see it, but I'm beaming right now. Oh, it felt good, man.
It is. In fairness, mate, you've had a happy grin on your chops for the last 2 hours. It's been lovely to see you. We've had great fun putting the world to rights tonight. And even though this is a sports podcast, we probably did just as much music and opinions as we did sport. But, you're a professional sportsman, mate, if you ask me. Professional athlete, I could not do a lot of the, I should say I do not have the athletic ability currently to do a lot of the things that you guys do. So I have nothing but respect for your physical ability. And in the hard style matches, like Quilt showed me some videos. Some of the backyard American promoters that do it. Oh my God. They will tape 6 or 7 strip lights together and crack. And I've had one fall on me from a not great height, but just enough to hit me and smash, and it can hurt, to be honest with you. So I can't imagine 6 or 7 of them sort of concentrating on your back. I do really have a hell of a lot of respect for the physicality and athleticism required to compete in your craft, I have to say.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me on. I've loved it. I haven't done a podcast for a long time. I think it was about 4 years since I did my last one of these, and it's been so good to get back and doing one again.
Oh, fantastic, mate. Well, I will let you go, buddy boy. Thank you so much for joining me, mate. Ryan Lloyd, Mr. No Fear, everybody. Britannia Wrestling Promotions, check him out. And Matthew Fox, you better watch yourself, son, because the champ is back. See you later, guys. Thank you.